Would you accept an extra $5 as a DoorDash dasher, getting that extra pay on each and every single delivery that you complete? Welcome to the channel. My name is Mike. This channel is dedicated to your success in this gig economy, the side hustle. So if you are new here, consider subscribing. And the fastest way to start dominating really any food delivery app, visit yourdrivermike.com/delivery. Well, apparently my answer is yes, because I just completed a dasher shift and the peak pay was $5, which again means that you'll earn an extra $5 on top of the pay, on top of any other tips. But is that necessarily a good thing? Well, we're going to answer that question in this video, and we're going to go over a concept that I'm calling the power strip. So first order, Chipotle, $10.67 for just 2.2 miles. Now notice it's a pretty high pay for a lower miles, and I guess we can probably thank the peak pay for this one. Now also pay attention to the starting and the ending destination specifically. We're going to come back to that. So we completed the first order. Second order from Five Guys, $11, another 2.2 miles. And same thing here, pay attention to the starting and the ending destination. Now, kind of a quick timeout here. I want to actually show you an order that I feel like was actually a mistake to accept. I mean, I don't really know what my strategy here was. This is Pizzeria Luigi. It's $8, but it's 4.4 miles, and look where it's headed. So I always talk about the power in the dollars to mile ratio, how much I'm getting paid for the miles driven. So if we look at this order here, it's $8, and really I want you to be at $1.50 to $2 per mile. Now this one isn't necessarily bad when it comes to the dollars to mile ratio. It's $1.82 per mile. So I think now's a good time to introduce the power strip and really why this order was a mistake. Now this order isn't necessarily bad when it comes to the dollars to mile ratio. It's in the, let's say, the green zone. It's that $1.50 to $2 per mile. And just so you know, I would say a yellow zone is maybe $1.10 to $1.40 a mile. Because once you really get down to, let's say, $1 a mile, that's going to be a red zone. In my opinion, that is the floor of the very minimum that you should accept. So we're in the green zone again. It's what, $1.82 a mile for this pizza pickup. But why was this one a mistake? Actually, let me ask you. Here's 3 options why this order was a mistake to accept. Let me know your answer down below. And I'll give you just 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It's this option. It's the dead miles back to my hotspot. So here's where the concept of what I'm calling the power strip comes into play. Notice those starting and the ending destinations that we've been talking about during this shift. There's really just one strip, one stretch of restaurants that I typically get orders from. So you're going to translate this to your marketplace. I want you to think, is there a power strip in your marketplace? What this does is it saves you time and it adds predictability. So you can say, well, I know that I generally have this power strip that, again, generally I can rely on to get orders. So another reason why I think power strips are so beneficial is just the ease of driving. I mean, this is a, let's say, east to west power strip. It could be a north to south power strip, but that's just easy. When it comes to driving, it's just really ping-ponging back and forth. But in my opinion, this order was a miss. I had to drive back and really get to my central zone, the hotspot, the power strip. Now, remember, I also asked you, if I offer you an extra $5 bonus on every single delivery, would you take it? So now it's time to answer that question, because it always seems like such an easy yes. Why not? An extra $5 on top of, again, the base pay on top of any tip. DoorDash is usually pretty popular, so why not? Well, this is why not. I've seen this time and time again driving on a DoorDash. The higher the peak pay incentive, the lower, or we'll say the slower it is. So I'm back here in San Diego, and just as an example, the higher peak pay here is $4, $5, maybe $6. So let's translate this to your marketplace. And it really doesn't matter how high that peak pay is. Let's say the max in your marketplace is $1 or $3, or maybe it is $5. What you may find, at least what I've seen here, driving in several different marketplaces, is as that peak pay goes up, again, the orders, the volume goes down. So I talked about a green zone of that dollars to mile ratio, really where you want to be. Well, I think there's also a green zone of the peak pay that you should be comfortable accepting. I recommend going for about 70 to 85% of the max peak pay in your market. So again, here in San Diego, if it absolutely maxes out at usually $5, $50, or $6, I try to hit about $3.50 or $4. So tonight on $5, you can see there, at least theoretically, it raises the risk. Now, what is your biggest kind of ammo when it comes to signing up for high peak pay shifts? If you sign up for high peak pay shifts and it is starting to get slow, you must multi-app. Multi-apping is driving on different platforms and simply choosing the best order for you. Now, if you haven't signed up for any platforms, now is definitely the time to sign up. Now, another roadblock when it comes to even multi-apping, and this is yet another problem that I actually experienced tonight, is a dollars to mile problem when multi-apping. Let me know down below in the comments if you've experienced this as well, but I multi-apped with Uber Eats. So my shift, of course, it was on DoorDash, but then DoorDash was getting slow, so I multi-apped with Uber Eats. Now the problem was, again, the dollars to mile ratio. The orders that I was getting, and you'll see some here, it's either too low of a payouts or too long of miles, or really honestly, just a combination of both. Because there's a whole lot to consider if you want to drive smartly than just how much is this order going to pay me? Positioning, which I clearly ignored in that other order here, but I did finally accept an Uber Eats order. This one, $12.69 for 6.3 miles for Rubio's. Now I'm going to show you the numbers of this shift here in a second, but I got to tell you, multi-apping, in my opinion, it can save your shift. Because what I was seeing was DoorDash was basically dying out. It was getting really slow. I was getting nothing, and I was sitting by hotspots. So multi-apping can turn a potentially very bad, low-paying shift into a hopefully pretty good one. We'll see the numbers. So tonight's shift on that pretty attractive $5 peak pay bonus was from 2 hours, 4:30 p.m. until 6:30 p.m. And the total gross revenue, thanks to the multi-apping, $12.69 on Uber Eats, and an additional $29.67 on DoorDash. That equals a total for the shift, $42.36. For those 2 hours of driving, that equals $21.18 per hour. Now that does sound pretty good, but based on my numbers, I'm really wanting to hit about $25 an hour. So again, accepting the highest peak pay possible doesn't mean you're gonna make the most money possible. And for this 2 hours of driving, 4 deliveries completed, 3 tips received with an average tip surprisingly low, $2.59. During this shift, I drove 19.7 miles and was actually surprised that I still earned $2.15. That's payout per miles, keeping us in that green zone. And for those miles, I get a tax deduction of $11.33. So should you accept that extra $5 for every single delivery? Maybe. And if you have, let us know down below. And I also want you to leverage the power strip that we talked about today. It's another factor of knowing your marketplace and that exact segment that you can rely on. And thirdly, I want you to understand the kind of red, yellow, and green zones when it comes to your per mile payout. So if you got value in this video, definitely drop me a like. And you can also click or tap the screen here for my most recent video, as well as a video recommended for you. And I'll see you in the next one.